So we're going to continue on with example number 3 today. So let's go ahead, because we've already have some experience on this. On our graphing calculator, let's enter this equation, linear function, onto our graphing calculator. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we have 0.5x plus 4. Now before you press graph, maybe some of you press graph already, which direction is this going? Going increases to the right. How do you know it increases to the right? How do we know it increases to the right? Because we look at the slope is positive, right? If its slope is positive, it's going to increase to the right. Okay, let's go ahead and graph that. Okay, so now we can see that it kind of looks like that. What we're going to do is we're going to sketch it. Okay, so what are the points that we can use? We could use a table of values to pick up some points, correct? So let's go ahead and pick up some points from here. So second function, graph. So second function, graph. That will activate the table. So table of values. Second function, graph, to activate the table. So what's the point there? The first point is 0, 4. So 0, 4. So we can use that point. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 4 right there. And what other points can we use? We can go 1 and 4.5. And another easy one would be 2, 5. 2, 5. So we can go 2, 5. Okay, so far so good. So we have 2 points here. We have 2, 5, and then the other one is 0, 4. Those are the 2 points that we are using. Now let's fill in across. What is the sign of the leading coefficient? Now the sign of leading coefficient, this is the one, the number that is multiplied by x So the number that's being multiplied by x, that's the leading coefficient. So coefficient is 0.5, so that is a positive. Yeah, you can just put positive because they just say sign of leading coefficient. If you want to put positive 0.5, that's okay too. Okay. What's the slope direction? Increasing to the right. Yeah, increasing to the right. Yeah, very good. And what's the end behavior? It means which two ends of the graph, because remember this is going to continue on, which area or which region, which quadrant are the ends going? Quadrant. Okay, this is quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, this is quadrant 4.
1 and 2. Quadrant 1 and 2. 1, 2, and 3.
No, just the two ends. Just the two ends. The end.
One and two.
1 and 2.
1, 2, 3.
What do you think?
I don't-
Okay. Now if it's kind of, probably if I go like this, what do you think?
Okay, so have to see the end of 2 inch.
No, it has to be from only two quadrants. Only two quadrants.
So 1,
3 and
3.
1. Yeah, 3
and 1.
to 1. Q, quadrant 3 and quadrant 1. So this is quadrant 3 to 1. Now,
Is it
some people...
You say quadrant 1, 2, 3.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna actually mention. Like somebody asked me that, right? So is it okay if I go quadrant 1 to 3? That's okay too, but what we wanted to do is read it from left to right. Read it from left to right, okay? So I mean, it's also gonna be quadrant 1 and 3, but if we want a better way,
Increasing to the right.
Why we jump quadrant 2? Why we don't mention 2?
no, which end is it? This is the end, and then this is the end.
But the
End
line-
behavior.
But the line passes through the quadrant 2.
Yeah, but where is the end going? Is this the end? Is this where the end is?
Oh,
No, right?
understand.
Now you understand. That's why it's called end behavior. Which quadrants is it going to go? Yeah.
Is it possible the slope increasing to the left?
Is it possible
The slope increasing to the left?
increasing to the left? You mean decreasing to the left?
Increasing.
Increasing, okay. Explain what you meant by increasing to the left.
Because of that explanation there told us the slope increasing to the right.
Mm-hmm.
So if a slope is increasing, it means it must be to the right. I think that.
Okay.
It
What we
must.
could do.
So I think that right doesn't. If someone writes the slope increasing, only pass.
Oh.
Because if it says increasing, don't. Yeah. Because. Because if
Oh,
it
the
says
slope
increasing,
is
it must be to the
increasing.
right.
Okay. You're probably thinking, the slope is, you say, just increasing. Period.
Increasing,
Okay. Okay.
Because if it's increasing, it must be to the right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Like you say, if increasing, it's always to the right.
To
Yeah.
the right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doesn't matter when you say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know what you mean. I understand what you meant by it. So you're saying like just say increasing.
It's increasing.
That's it. Yeah, that's okay. I want to say increasing to the right. The reason why I'm saying that is because not everybody reads it to the right. Because some people, they're saying it's decreasing to the left. You know, it's so. If you want to say increasing, that's okay. Because I understand you're reading it from always left to right. Yes, that's fine. Okay, is that good? That's a good conversation right there. Okay, this one here, before we type it in, what kind of expectation do you have on this one?
Negative.
Negative.
Yeah, negative. So what's gonna happen?
The slope is negative and must be decreasing.
Oh, now you're using the left and decreasing.
Decreasing.
Okay, let's graph this thing.
Okay.
Okay, so y. You can clear it. We'll just clear it. Okay, this one here is negative, so make sure we type in negative. Negative 2.2. Okay, so here we go. Now that's a graph. We're supposed to do a sketch. We know it's gonna fall down, right? Decrease to the right. Decrease, or you can say decreasing. So how do we graph this? You can sketch it. Okay, so if we want a specific points, a specific number on the graph, we can go second function, graph, and it will generate the table of values for us. So the one that we see is 0, 12. 0, 12. So we can graph 0, 12. Ooh. 0, 12 there. What other points can we graph? That's nice. So it might be easy to graph.
5, 1.
5, 1.
5, comma 1. So on the x is 5. So go to the right 5. And then 1 would be right there. So the graph falls down. Decreases. So we got the 0, 12 up here, and then we have a 5, comma 1 right there. Yep.
Like in the test, for example, we have to draw a few numbers to draw like the way they describe.
A few numbers, like put a tick mark, or
Yeah.
you could, or you could just draw it out and then plot a point there, and you can say that's my 0, 12. Is that what you're asking about? Yeah. What is the sign of the leading coefficient? It's going to be negative. I'll just put NEG, so I don't have to type in the word negative. Slope direction.
Down.
So, decreasing.
Okay. Slope direction. Some people say down, decreasing. That's okay. I would accept that. We can say decreasing to the right, or just decreasing.
That's okay.
That's okay. Yeah. So if you want just decreasing, that's okay. If you want to just be specific, decreasing to the right.
How about downward?
Down to the right.
Or
Yeah.
upward?
Yeah, you could do that. Down to the right. Okay, what's the end behavior? Yep.
Can you also do increasing to the left?
Yeah, you can say increasing to the left. It's okay. So that's, yeah, you have to be careful. Be careful though, because we can say increasing, but make sure you do the to the left. Okay. What's the end behavior? Which?
Quadrant 2 to quadrant 4.
Okay, quadrant.
2 to 4.
Okay, if I extend this a bit more, where is it gonna be?
Quadrant 2.
Quadrant 2 to quadrant
4.
4. Yeah, quadrant 4. Good. Oh, now this one is interesting. Is everybody okay? Quadrant 2?
Because it's in 0, it's confusing if it's 1, if it's 2. How you make a decision is 2.
Oh, yeah. So this is just one point, right? It keeps going out this way. Yeah. So let's see here. Let's see graph. Okay. So it kind of looks like it's just quadrant 1 and 4, but really if we change the window, let's go to negative. Oh no, negative 10 is okay. 15. Increase the y. Can you see it? It's in the region of quadrant 2. Yeah. Okay, it's in a quadrant 2. Is that good? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It looks deceiving because it kind of cuts off there, right? But if we continue on, that's going to be quadrant 2. So far, so good? Yeah, everyone's okay. So far, so good. Whew. Okay, next one. Y equals to -5. Oh. Interesting. So let's just graph that. Oh, what happened to our graph? -5. Okay, y equals to -5. What's happening to that line?
Flat.
It's flat. When something is flat, that means it has 0 slope. It's not sloping to the right, and it's not sloping to the left, right? It's flat. So what's our, to be specific, what's our point? So we go -5. And if you go like this, second function table again, 0, -5, 0, 1, -5, 2, -5. So what does that mean? Let's actually rewrite this differently so that we are very clear on what the slope is. So we can rewrite this as y equals, because it's a flat line, right, horizontal, that means the slope must be 0. So you can 0x minus 5. So no matter what the x value is, it's going to be -5. The outcome is -5. Okay. Sign of the leading coefficient, well, it's not positive and it's not negative, so we'll just put 0. And what's the slope direction?
It's flat.
It's flat, it's a horizontal line. So it's not increasing and it's not decreasing either. It's just horizontal.
Wait, why would it be negative? Why is it 0?
Say that again.
Why is it 0? Why wouldn't it be negative? Because there's only a negative.
Oh, yeah. Because this one here, yeah, it says here the sign of the leading coefficient. So the leading coefficient is the number that is being multiplied by the x. Yeah. Yeah. In this case, so if we write it this way, it's very clear to us that it's 0. Okay, good. You're welcome.
Let me draw like maybe 2 minus 5 to sketch.
To sketch 2 minus 5. This one. 2.
2 minus 5. I want to make the point.
The point might.
No, the point from the
Oh, like here. Oh, you put the point here, right there, 2, -5 right there. Like that? Yeah, okay. Yeah. And what's the end behavior?
Is
Which quadrant?
3 and 4.
3 and 4, right? We're looking at just the ends, so that's quadrant 3 to quadrant 4. Okay, so we're always reading from left to right. Oh, this one is kind of interesting. Okay, let's give that a try. Make sure we put the brackets in. So -1 divided by 3, so divided by 3. X minus 1. So I'm gonna give it back here. So negative 1/3, so that's this part here, times x times brackets x minus 1, close bracket. Yeah? Now you got this line. Yes. Oh, quit. Okay. Is this negative? Do you put negative? Okay. Okay, so what does that look like? Yeah, we have to be careful with the, when do I put in the negative and when do I put in the minus, okay? We'll talk about that right away. That's negative 1/3 of 1. Okay, so what's the rule? How do I know when to press a negative sign or when to press the minus sign? Okay, so here we go. Here's a general rule for that. So this is the negative sign, right? You press that when there's nothing at the there's nothing at the front. So if you want to go negative 1/3, right? So this one we're gonna press the negative. Okay. Now the minus is when you have, because minus is subtracting or taking away. So if we want to type in x minus 1, right? X minus 1. So you're gonna press the minus instead of a negative. So this is interesting. How did we graph this thing? Second function. Okay. The first one is 1, 0. 1, 0, probably that's a nice one to go. 1, 0. Right there. And then what other nice ones can we graph? 4, negative 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1. You got 1, 0, and then you got the 4, negative 1 right there. Okay, good. Now you're probably thinking, why is that, right? Maybe some of you have heard of multiplying in. Multiplying in. Have you heard of that one? Multiplying polynomials. So you can say negative 1/3 times x is negative 1/3 x. And then negative 1/3 times minus 1. So that's going to, negative and negative is a positive 1/3. So these two are exactly the same thing, right? Exactly the same thing. This is your slope. Slope is negative, so that's why it's going down to the right. And then your our y-intercept is 1/3. So if you look at that one, that's your 1/3 right there. Okay. So let's fill in the rest. What would this be? Negative. This is going to be decreasing. decreasing to the right. Okay, so if you want to just put decreasing, that's okay. And that's in quadrants and behavior. Make sure you go to the ends, to the end. Quadrant 2, 2, 4. Excellent. Is that good? Now let's try this one. What would this be? Oh, no.
Thank you.
Bring it down. So let's graph this thing. I'm gonna clear that. So 3 brackets x. Okay, this is a minus sign. Minus 8. Close brackets. Right there. That's where our graph is. So, can you see where the ends go? Okay. So let's graph some points here. So second function graph, or yeah. Now 0, -24. That kind of tells us it's way down here. Okay.
Maybe 6 minus 6. So 6 minus.
You can have
6,
Okay.
6 minus 6.
6, -6. Okay. So 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -6. And then the next one I can see 7, 3. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's really, it really.
That's 7 or
Just see 7
Hmm?
That's not 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7, 3.
Yeah, 7, 3.
Minus, that's
Oh, 7, -3 rather. Yes, thank you. There we go. 7, -3. And then this one would be 6, -6. What's the leading coefficient here? What's the sign of the leading coefficient? Now, let's multiply this in here, okay? So we can rewrite it as 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -8 is -24. So the leading coefficient is +3, so this is positive. And this is going to be increasing. To the right. So if you put going up, increasing, rises, that's okay. What quadrants do they fall in?
3, 1.
Do they ends? 3 and 1?
3 and 3.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody's okay with that though. Can everybody see it's 3 and 1? Yeah? So if I extend this one, extend the line, it would eventually cross the third. Last but not the least. Last but not the least. So go ahead and try this one. Oh. Is this what you expected? Are we expecting that this is gonna go down? Yeah? Okay. So let's pick up some points. Okay. The first point I'm gonna put is 0, 3. And then the next one would be -1.7. I'll do -1.7. Now you're probably thinking, why is this going down? Do you know why it's going down? Yeah.
And the slope is negative.
What is the slope of this line?
The slope is negative.
Negative. Because we can rearrange this as -4x
Negative 4
plus 3. Yeah. So our leading coefficient is really the -4 after we rearranged it. So the leading coefficient is negative. It's going to be decreasing to the right. Hold on for a second. Yeah.
Why we
I just rearranged it so that it's clear that the leading coefficient is -4.
So X.
We don't have to. We don't have
always
to.
has to be first.
At the front, yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
X always.
Yeah. And what's the final end behavior here would be quadrants
2 and 4.
2 to quadrant 4. So left to right. Okay. How do you feel about that one? Is that okay? You finally finished lesson 1 on this booklet. It took us a while. But there's a lot of getting used to on a calculator. There's a lot of getting used to on plotting points, understanding points, and so on. Okay.